Muy buenas a todos, estamos encantados de tener al Carion hoy en Oviedo, de tener a Dora en el Conservatorio dando esta super masterclass de hoy. Yo tengo unas cuantas preguntas, o en general tenemos unas cuantas preguntas para ella. We have several questions for you. And the first one is like, you have this thing of memorizing music, no stands, no scores, like, why did this come from? Le estoy preguntando de este lema que tienen ellos de fuera triles, fuera partituras, ¿de dónde viene eso?
It's very important for us to show what we are doing in the music. Not just play the music, but show to the audience all of the characters, all of the contrasts in the music. For example, when we have in ligeti in the third or second movement, when we go close to each other with the clarinetist, and we kind of have a fight there. So we want to visualize our performances, that everybody can understand more the structures of the music. This was the main thing which we wanted to achieve. And of course, to do that, we have to remove the music stands. Otherwise, we cannot move. So that was important to do.
Nada, ella dice que es muy importante que la gente no solo escuche la música, sino que lo visualice, que es muy típico, por ejemplo, en ligeti, que toca Randall también, que hay incluso lucha con ellos, entre ellos, y que por eso, bueno, pues necesitan esa parte teatral, pues quitar partituras, fuera atriles. Le voy a preguntar si tiene alguna... ¿Cuál es su secreto realmente a la hora de memorizar esta música? Nosotros todos tocamos y es complicado. What tips would you give, like, to memorize all this music? Is for us, like musicians, is so difficult. Do you have any secret, any tips that you can give us?
We five of us have completely different methods. I mean, I have an absolute ear, so I know the pitch, I hear the pitch, and I have a photographic memory. So for me, it's kind of easy because I know where I am in the music, which line I am playing, which page I am playing, and basically I memorize all parts to be able to do my part, because it's part of the whole game, the whole story, the whole piece. So I cannot just memorize one part and go to the rehearsal and try to expect that everything is going to be working out, because if I don't know the relation of the other parts, then it's not going to work out. So it's important to basically know the whole piece in your head. And my tip is listen the recordings, different kinds of recordings. If you would like to memorize, for example, a solo piece or a concerto, it's easier. The difficulty comes when you try to memorize the accompaniment. But to memorize the accompaniment, you have to memorize the theme and the solo part as well, and then you know exactly. And for us, it's also the movements are really important, and they also help for us to memorize, because sometimes I know, okay, now I step like this, now I have to play like that. So there's also some kind of key moments in the music when the movement helps.
I completely agree with you. Like, I've never done it, but it completely makes sense. Dice que claro, ellos cinco que tienen completamente diferentes maneras de hacerlo. En su caso, ella tiene oído absoluto y también tiene una memoria fotográfica muy buena. Entonces dice que claro, que viendo no solamente su parte, sino la de todos, que enseguida puede visualizarlo tanto por el sonido como por la visión. De otro modo dice que los movimientos que ellos hacen cuando tocan, que les ayuda muchísimo a recordar este movimiento, pues tal pasaje, ¿no? Y a la hora, algo que dice ella, cuando aprendes una parte solista, no solamente aprender tu parte, sino aprender lo que está haciendo el acompañamiento, escuchar muchísimas grabaciones, tener otras fuentes para que sepas en todo momento lo que tiene que hacer. Pero claro, es lo que decía ella, cada uno es diferente. Dora, you're a multifunction musician. You're a soloist, you are a chamber musician, you're a teacher. In which field do you feel more comfortable? Ella es una grandísima solista, solista de orquesta, solista en orquesta, músico de cámara, profesora. Le estoy preguntando en cuál de sus múltiples facetas ella está más cómoda.
I mean, the secret is, I think, to be an adaptable musician. So adapt to the situation where you are in. and you have to know your role. For example, when I play in the orchestra, of course I have a leading part as well, but I have to kind of blend in the wooden group. When we have a common phrase together, then we have to do it commonly. I cannot just stick out as a soloist. I feel very good playing in the orchestra as well. Chamber music is something different because, of course, we have to sound like a choir together, and we have 5 different type of instruments. We will never sound like a string quartet, but we want to be as close as possible with the sound, to sound like a string quartet. So, for example, when I play with the clarinet, I try to lose the brilliance of the sound a little bit. And when I play with the horn, I have to be like fat and lazy, you know. There are different kinds of methods how to adjust to different kinds of instruments. And I have to say I feel very comfortable with everything I'm in it.
And when you're teaching?
When I teach, I try to concentrate exactly on the students and what they need at the moment. And we have an hour. What can I do with this hour the most efficient way? One of them, I sometimes just work with sound, and we do some sound building for 20 minutes. And if the sound is good enough to play the piece, then we start with the piece. And sometimes, you know, we work on staccato, sometimes we work on different kind of blending or different kinds of sounds, and sometimes we just work on the piece. Or I tell them, make a research of the composer. When did he write this piece, for example? What was the situation in his life? Because there are so many influences we have to think about. And what kind of person he was. And I just try to be that person and then have your own personality shining over. I think that's important.
Ella dice que, me acuerdo de todo. Ella dice que bueno, que claro, que como solista es súper importante saber que tiene partes, en la orquesta, que tiene partes solistas que tiene que resaltar, pero que nunca echan falta a la sección de vientos, o sea, nunca va a salir por encima de ellos. Ella se ajusta a donde esté tocando, igual le pasa dentro de la música de cámara, que también se ajusta pues al sonido de sus compañeros. Si es una trompa, pues eso, ella tiene que tocar así como más como si fuera mucho más gorda. Si toca con un clarinete de otra manera, y lo que ellos quieren es, bueno, pues llegar a esa, como si fuera un cuarteto de cuerda, al que nunca dicen que no sonará. Para mí, realmente su sonido realmente suenan como un órgano, porque van tan juntos, pero bueno, ella dice que eso, que realmente nunca llegarán a ser un cuarteto de cuerda, pero que eso es lo que tratan. Entonces ella se ajusta depende con quién esté tocando, y a la hora de dar clase, pues ella se concentra 100% en sus alumnos y en las necesidades que cada uno necesite, si es cuestión de afinación, cuestión de aire. Incluso decía ahora que era muy importante, les pone en situación de cada compositor, lo que significa que busque, les anima muchísimo a que no solamente toquen, sino que busquen toda la circunstancia, todo lo que les rodea a las obras. Dora, it's an amazing pleasure to have you here in Oviedo, to have you in the Conservatorio this afternoon or this evening in the auditorium. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your work.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting us. Thank you.